Hey guys, what's going on? I have a video for you today where I'm going to go over 10 things that I think Call of Duty World War II campaign needs in order to be great. Now these aren't really in any sort of specific order of importance because I feel like all of these things are essential to making the campaign great. But without further ado, let's just get right into it. So number 10, it needs adult themes. I'm not too worried about this one because we already saw some pretty brutal stuff in the reveal trailer. But because of the era and the brutality and grittiness of the war itself, I hope there is an abundance of M-rated content throughout this campaign. And I'm talking like just more so than traditional Call of Duty games tend to have. I think this game needs to go above and beyond with the mature content. So fingers crossed. Number 9, I think it needs multiple story arcs. I think it would be awesome if there were multiple storylines going on simultaneously, which kind of intersect and crisscross at certain points throughout the game. In my opinion, this would make the game feel like it's more on a grand scale, but much like the M-rated stuff I mentioned, I think this type of story writing is something that Call of Duty games are somewhat known for. So again, not too worried about it, but I do think that it needs to have stuff like this in order to be a great game. Number 8, length. Not much to say about this one, but to put it simply, the longer the better. No one wants, a 6 or 7 hour campaign. It's kind of over before you know it. If we can get something that's closer to maybe 15 hours, that would be pretty darn sweet. And I admit that might be getting a little unrealistic, but I got my fingers crossed. Number 7, it needs intense gameplay. Call of Duty, it's a game that's known for having, intense moments, but in my opinion, it's at the point where the bar needs to be raised. And when I'm playing this game, I want to feel like my decisions and my actions matter, and in order for that to happen, the situation needs to be intense. If it's just a bunch of different levels where we clear out hordes of Nazis and then progress to the next area, then I'm not quite sure if this game's going to hit its intended marks. We need situations that, get our hearts pumping and get our hands sweaty. And I want to have a sense that losing is not an option, even though I'm just playing a video game. Number 6, it needs to have a variety of different combat. And by that, I mean there has to be, that typical combat that's slow paced, like the traditional sniper missions that COD is known to have, as well as some crazy gut-wrenching insanity where all hell is breaking loose, which COD is also known for. But more importantly, I hope we get the chance to do things like dogfight in those classic World War II era planes and engage in naval combat, like controlling battleships or maybe even submarines. That would be pretty damn cool. Number 5, we need memorable protagonists. At this point, we know very little about the main characters in this game, but there's some things that hint to them being based off of real life people. For example, we know of a character by the name of Rousseau, who could be based off of Jeannie Rousseau, who was an Allied intelligence agent in occupied France during World War II. Also, Michael Condrey talked about a character by the name of Zussman, who is a Jewish American soldier who ends up getting captured in Germany, and this could easily be related to the real life Charles Sussman, who was captured by the Germans in World War II, spent 299 days in a POW camp before he was released, sent back to America, and he was awarded the Bronze Star. Now, it's unlikely that these are both coincidences, and I like the fact that Sledgehammer is getting inspiration from real life people and real life events, because when these characters have an actual real history that we can look into and read about, it makes them that much more interesting and memorable in my opinion. So yeah, I hope most of, if not all of the characters have some sort of history like that. Number 4, much like number 5, but on the opposite end of the conflict, the game must have a memorable villain. I want to see a villain that gives me the same feeling that Negan from The Walking Dead gives me, where I just want to reach through my TV screen and just strangle the life out of them. I want to feel hatred towards the enemy, and I think it's very important to have a solid and memorable villain because it will just make the entire game better all around in terms of just being intense and visceral. It definitely needs a good villain, or villains, maybe plural. That could be even better. Multiple villains, that would be cool. Number 3, shocking moments. Again, this is something that COD is somewhat known for, but at this point, I think the bar really needs to be raised. We did see in the reveal trailer, there's, you know, one scene where a soldier's kind of falling to his death in a pit of flames, and another spot where a dude's getting his face smashed in, and I don't know, I'm hoping the game gets much more shocking than those two scenes. Like, if that's all they have to offer, then I think the game might just kind of fall flat on the shock factor. The real challenge, though, being shocking in a World War II setting, is that, you know, between all of the World War II games, the shows, the movies, the documentaries, and everything else that has covered this iconic war over the years, we have seen it all already. So it would take a very talented and very creative team of people to come up with scenarios and situations that can actually shock us to the point where our jaws drop and we're just like, what the hell? Can they pull something like that off? I don't know. But in order for the campaign to be great, I think it definitely needs moments that just make us go, damn, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Crazy shit. Number 2, plot twists. I guess this could kind of tie in with the whole shocking moments thing, because plot twists are often shocking. But I always like when the plot of a game takes an unexpected turn and keeps the players guessing. Playing something that's too predictable can get boring or even feel bland because you can anticipate what's going to happen and when, but if the plot zigs and zags in ways that the player isn't expecting, then all in all it will make the entire experience that much more thrilling, as long as they don't go too crazy to the point where it's kind of disengaging. They got to find that sweet spot. And now finally, number 1, and it's kind of tied to everything I already mentioned, and that is the game needs to have a gripping story. Now, I'm not sure if Sledgehammer hired writers for this game or if they're creating the entire story in-house, but either way, I think they are embarking on one hell of a challenge, because as I mentioned a minute ago, World War II, as a theme in general, has already been done to death. So to do it yet again, but at the same time make it feel fresh and original, is quite a daunting task. And in order for the game to be truly great, it can't just be fresh and original. It has to be gripping, like those modern day TV shows that just get people all hyped up all the time, like The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones or Stranger Things. It needs to captivate the player and grip us like into submission, so we just don't want to put it down. And when we do put it down, we can't think of anything else but to pick it back up and dive right back into all those chaotic battles and action. But that's pretty much it. Those are my top 10 things that I feel Call of Duty World War II needs in order to be great. If you agree with my list, or if you like the video, be sure to hit the like button. Also, let me know in the comments below what you think the game needs in order to be great, the campaign specifically. And also be sure to subscribe if you're new to my channel. I have another vid coming up very soon with my top 10 things that I think the game needs to be great on the multiplayer side of it. But that's going to be it for me for now, guys. So thank you all for watching. I'm Vile Self. Until next time, villains. Later.